The first suspect, 26-year-old Tamerlan, was killed this week as police were chasing him. And tonight there are many questions about his younger brother, 19-year-old Dzhokhar. Some of the suspect's relatives think the older brother may have been influencing his younger sibling. Joining us now to talk a little bit more about how all this happened is clinical psychotherapist Cindy Crane. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Help shed a little more light on this. So from what you have seen of the suspect number 2, Dzhokhar, does it seem that he was influenced, that this was a man who was conflicted for a while and then was influenced by his brother to do these things?
Well, from what I know and what I've been reading and hearing on the news is that he was a very sweet kid, everybody liked, but may have been depressed. And in that situation could have been more vulnerable to what looks like a psychopath for a brother.
Right. Well, and when you look back to his Twitter postings, I don't know if you've seen anything about that. There were postings where he almost foreshadowed what was going to be happening in Boston. And then other of his postings were about, typical college events or women or just, the typical postings of a college student. It paints a conflicting picture. So clearly there was something going on here with this man.
I think that there must have been some sort of a separating the younger brother from some of his other influences. And that's what can happen in sort of a killer dyad. So the dominant leader kind of pulls in the submissive follower, and the younger brother was known as being a big fan of his older brothers. He was so looking up to him for his boxing.
So it's almost like almost brainwashing?
A little bit. I think it was strategic manipulation, and perhaps the brother, for whatever reason, was in a more vulnerable position to be drawn into his story.
In some ways, it makes you recall the John Allen Muhammad, Liboy Malvo
Absolutely.
Relationship there.
Yeah.
Was it something that he was driven to do or that he was influenced to do, does it seem?
This is just conjecture, but it seems that there's a similar dyad here where there's an older person manipulating the younger person and was sucked in through some sort of a manipulation of the facts and maybe a sense of responsibility either to the brother or maybe to the greater cause if it's jihad, I'm not sure.
And given that, would it seem in your opinion that this might be somebody who would be more likely to talk to police, to tell them what was behind these bombings, to give them a little more insight?
If I were the police, I'd be very hopeful that that is the case. I think there's a lot of reason to think that he may have been really being manipulated by this older brother, maybe threatened even in some way, and felt that he had to do this. And now that the older brother's dead, there's not that weight over him. Perhaps he is going to feel cathartic and being able to share with the police what he knows.
Very, very